You've come to the right place if you're looking to create, launch, and scale a high-value online training program. I'm your guide, Chris Badgett. I'm the co-founder of LifterLMS, the most powerful learning management system for WordPress. Stay to the end. I've got something special for you. Enjoy the show. Hello and welcome back to another episode of LMScast. I'm Chris Badgett. I'm joined by two very special guests. We've got Becky and Jeremy Launder from Modern Direct Seller Academy. The website is myconsultanttraining.com. Welcome to the show, y'all.
Thank you. Yeah. Happy to be here.
Yeah, good to be here.
Yeah, it's an honor to talk to you both and have this conversation. I have questions for you that are going to go all over the place. But first, just for anybody who doesn't know, what is direct sales or direct selling? Like, what is the subject matter that you're teaching on your academy?
Yeah, so I work with direct sellers, MLM, network marketing professionals. So anyone that is in the industry directly selling a product that they didn't create themselves, that they are repping for another company. So if you're familiar with affiliate marketing or referral marketing, same kind of idea. And then a lot of companies give you the opportunity to also build a team as well. So that's my background. That's what I kind of done for a while, and now I'm on the other side of it and working in the training side. So it's a ton of fun.
That's awesome. Well, what has the academy site or the training site, what has that done for you two as a couple and as a family? Because you have two kids, is that right?
Yeah. Two kids playing Legos that are
Okay.
hopefully not going to interrupt us for the next short while. We'll see.
We've had dogs make an appearance. We've had all kinds of stuff. So it's all good. Totally family friendly.
Real life.
No guarantees they won't pop in.
Well, I mean, you can kind of tell a little bit of your story, but Jeremy's behind the scenes on the technical side and has done all the systems and the development. And I'm kind of more the marketing girl on the front end doing a lot of the videos. But we just recently had a big exciting change for our family.
Yeah, so my background, I was an electrical engineer, I guess. So I worked in the aerospace and defense industry for 15 years and then had always helped. We've had the training business for 3 years now, since 2017. So I've always kind of helped out at nights and on the weekends and whatnot. And it's steadily grown over those 3 years. And so, I got to the point where I was able to step away from that engineering career, and now we work together full time. So
just as of a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that is super exciting. So how long did it take from like building the online business to get to that point? Like, how long has that been?
I mean, I guess the current business we have that we started in 2017, it's really been like 3 years, but I mean, there was a whole bunch of stuff before
that. We actually, didn't monetize it for, over a year. We really created a website with just a ton of free resources for people, and everyone kept saying, you should charge money for this. And we waited for a while, but our membership site, which is a big source of our income and what we provide to our students, that just launched last October. So we're less than a year into the membership site.
Wow, that's awesome. I admire that, like spending time just, creating content and creating resources. And I call that moving slow to move fast later. And it takes a while. What kind of free content and resources did you build out? Are we talking about social media stuff, YouTube stuff, blog stuff? What is it?
A little bit of everything. Yeah.
Okay.
So a lot of video training. The site really was created because I was in direct sales and I was leading a team, and people asked me the same question over and over and over again. So whenever somebody asked me a question more than 3 times, I pretty much wrote a blog post on it or created a YouTube video and put it up on the website. And so we really created this content to make my life easier for a little while, right? To help out others. And then it just expanded upon that. So there was people outside of my team, but within the same company that was using the training. And then it expanded even further, where the training was reaching other direct sales companies. The website has a little bit of everything on it. And then we built out the courses. That was like last spring probably. So about a year and a half ago that we actually did a full video production and put together a 5-course series. There's 35 lessons. That's pretty in-depth and a little bit more fancy than my garage backdrop studio recording on my cell phone, which is kind of how we started.
That's awesome. And tell me more about the 5-course series. So a lot of people, I don't mean to call it a mistake, but they build what I call like a giant course. It's just too big. So I love hearing that there's like a series here. How did the series thing come about and what's in it?
Yeah, so we call it our Grow Your Direct Sales Biz Bundle is the course
Okay.
series. There's 5 courses from starting your business successfully to launching your business to learning marketing skills to leading a team and scaling. And so each course has 7 lessons, and the lessons are 10 to 15 minutes each. They're not super long. They're meant to be done in bite-sized chunks. Most of my audience are moms that are either doing this as a side gig or part-time. And so I always say you should be able to listen on the way to carpool lane or whatever you need to do, kind of listen as you go. But the first lesson in each course is really an introduction to what they're going to learn. And the last lesson of each course is common roadblocks and FAQs. So the bulk of the course is really in lesson 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Wow, that's amazing. And I just want to reiterate what I heard because I think it's so beautiful. First of all, you had a 5-step framework, which is using verbs, which is what I recommend. Like, for example, with LifterLMS, we help education entrepreneurs create, launch, and scale. So you said start, launch, market, lead, and scale.
Yeah.
So so you got your if somebody's
students.
if somebody's listening out there, that is a framework, and it's a verb. When you're helping somebody get a result, you have to go through these steps, and these steps are usually like you can usually package them inside verbs. And then you said 7 lessons per course, which is a framework. The first one is the intro. The last one is the roadblocks and common objections and stuff.
Yeah.
And then the 5. So really, these are 5 lesson courses or lessons in each course that are 10 to 15 minutes each, you said, which isn't forever. I'm sure you're super passionate about direct sales and leadership and all these things. So I'm sure you could go on a lot longer than 15 minutes, but you're time boxing it, which is awesome. So how did you come up with such a strong organizational ability?
What would you say?
I'd say that's, I don't know, it's just kind of been her personality type, I would say. Very organized, list, like, you know, I don't know, comes kind of natural to her, I guess.
Well, and we could back up a little bit. So last spring, I actually wrote a short book. So the book is 52 tips on how to build a thriving direct sales business.
Is this like an ebook, or is it on Amazon? Or
no,
what?
It's on Amazon. You can. It's legit. Yeah, it's on Amazon.
Nice.
So we put together this book, and that really required me to pare down all of the ideas I had and put it in a super organized fashion. So the book itself is structured in the same way. There's 5 chapters, and in each chapter, there's practical tips, which are short paragraphs of, kind of a short version of the courses, essentially. So that really required, I worked with an editor, and they helped me make sure that it made sense. So that was a good starting point. And then we created the course content pretty much in parallel.
That's awesome. So would you say the book process like made getting to the course a lot more manageable when you got there? Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, it was kind of like creating an outline, right? It really focused what each section needed to be on.
And how long did it take to write the book? For most people, they say like 10 years, but when you actually like started, how long? I know you were probably thinking about it for a long time, but
it's a tip book. So there's 52 tips, and each tip is pretty much a paragraph. So I want to, not to discredit that it is a book and it is on Amazon, but it's a short, very practical book. And so I think I started the process in September and I finished it in January. So it was like 3 months, and I did everything in kind of short little chunks and just was super laser focused on it because I wanted to have the book and the courses come out at the exact same time.
And I think all the free content also helped. It was a lot of content was reused. All that free content we had made over, the last year or two, a lot of that was used in the book too. So
Yeah.
I think that helped shorten the process quite a bit.
It was stuff that I live and breathe and talk about all day, every day.
That's awesome. Yeah, the free content, like as a way to just start exercising your expert self and get it out there and start building these frameworks and stuff is super, super helpful. So,
Yeah.
so really you had free content, then you had book, and then you had course, which is,
and then we had the membership. So
and then you had membership.
It all kind of evolved because we launched the courses and we were kind of like, I don't know, there's something missing here. The courses were great and we had people that purchased them. They were kind of, I say like my fangirls, like they were the loyal ones, the diehards that have been following what we had done for a while, but it just wasn't quite hitting the mark. So we ended up taking those courses and put it into our membership program. So now when you join our membership, you have access to all of the course content.
That's cool. So tell us more about the transition from courses to membership. So were you doing like one-off courses, or like you could buy the 5 together or something, or how did it start?
Yeah, we kind of did it both ways, right?
Yeah, so you could individually buy the courses, or you could buy the bundle of the 5. And I think we were going through like a launch process every, I don't know, was it like quarter or something?
Quarterly, yeah.
And
so was it open and closed cart kind of thing?
Yeah.
I think we tried it both ways. I mean, this has pretty much been our experience in business. You throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks, right? So I think that we did have like an intro series into our email nurture sequence where we offered a one-time discount on the course, and like people weren't quite biting at that. And then we bundled it and had a big, you get a $50 discount when you buy the bundle. And like, it was going okay. Like nothing was going great. Like it was going okay. And then, for a long time we talked about, okay, what other support could we provide? What are people really looking for? And I think what I realized was that people were looking for community, and they were looking for the connection, and they wanted to be able to reach out and ask me a question if they had a question, and they were finding more value in that versus, sitting through a bunch of courses and watching from start to finish. And people still do that in the membership. They do binge watch the course content. But I think that we just realized like there's something missing. And from a business perspective, the recurring income of a membership also is really attractive.
Yeah. More steady income.
Yeah.
So what's in the membership stack? You got courses, do you have some kind of office hours, and what's the community like? What are the components?
Yeah. So our Modern Direct Seller Academy, you get full access to the course bundle. So there's 5 courses. We do monthly masterminds. We do monthly office hours. We have a community group where you can connect with other peers or ask us questions. We do a tech talk post every week that Jeremy chimes in on and answers all kinds of strange technical questions that all of us weird direct sales girls have. I joke that you get to borrow my husband and get tech support, and people ask all kinds of things, from what computer to buy to why something isn't working on social media. It's pretty open-ended.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, there's a lot included. So we have live events every month that people can join into, and then they have the courses and a couple of their downloads that they can kind of pick and choose what they need based on where they're at in their business.
It's a couple
very cool
retreats too, like quarterly virtual.
Do a virtual retreat twice a year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's a virtual retreat like?
Well, you join me on Zoom and you hang out with me for a half day, but we just did our summer virtual retreat, and I think it was a great way for people to just kind of reset and reevaluate their business. So just taking dedicated time to set aside and really focus on what you're working on. I do a little bit of training and brainstorming. We had a really fun creative burst that we did that morning, and then we took a lunch break and came back, and the whole afternoon was taking action. So we did 20-minute cycles of what are you working on, focus on that for 20 minutes, take a 5-minute break, come back, that kind of thing.
That's awesome. And what about the masterminds? What does that look like? Is that small group or a big group mastermind?
Yeah, so it's open to everyone in the membership. I'd say we usually get, somewhere between 20 and 30 people that show up, and I feel like half the people are just there to listen, which is totally fine. They just kind of want to hear the conversation. The other half come with something that they want feedback on, and they share what they have going on in their business, and then everyone just kind of gives it to them. And at the end of the hour, we wrap up and post a replay in the group. A lot of people will just listen to the replay afterwards just to kind of hear the conversation and get ideas for their own business.
That is awesome. Very cool. And tell me about the tech stack, like for the Academy site and just like.
I'll be quiet now.
Yeah. So what makes the business operate from the web?
Yeah, so the primary, I mean, obviously Lifter running all the membership and the courses and all that stuff. We're using ConvertKit for the CRM. Right now, I mean, we have an affiliate program, but I'm running that all manually until I've already purchased affiliate WP, I just haven't implemented that yet. And then we're using the native like LifterLMS, Stripe and PayPal plugins for that. We do make like custom sales pages, so we use those in the access plan redirects. We use those to redirect to sales pages. What else? Oh, we do some upsells too, which has been really helpful. So we do run some like Facebook ads to, I don't know, like a low cost.
It's a $9 download.
Yeah.
And people
Okay.
eat it up. So
Nice.
it's basically like an opt-in ad that we're running, but we're actually getting our money back on the conversion, right? So then when they purchase it, we offer them to join for just $10. So it's like, you know, your first month you can get in for 10, then after that it's 17 a month thereafter. So that works really, that works really beautifully. The last couple months, most of our new members have come through that entry into the Academy.
That's super cool. So that's it's a paid ad to they have to pay $9 for what's in the $9. What do they get for that?
Yeah, so it's a download that I call perfectly crafted PMs, DMs, and texts. So one of the things that I found in direct sales is that people just really struggle with finding the right words when they're reaching out to make a sale, or if they're having an online party to invite somebody to a party, or inviting somebody to follow their business or introduce the business to them. So it's really just kind of a download that includes a formula that I've created about how to build relationships with people, and then giving them some templates they can use to customize when reaching out to people. So it's a pretty simple download.
But valuable.
But valuable, yeah. And so it's just $9, and you know, we get orders all day for that, and our what would you call it?
The upsell.
Upsell or our upgrade is averaging about 20%. So 20% of purchasers end up upgrading to the membership. So that has just been a really great sales funnel for us.
That is cool. So the upgrade goes to a reduced price for the first month, but they know it's going to come in at the full price the second month. Wow,
Right.
That's pretty good. I mean, that's not that crazy, but definitely the really valuable lead magnet that's not free, that adds a ton of value to let's earn your trust with a reduced first month at a reduced price. If you like it, stay. I mean, it just makes sense.
Cool. It's so simple, but I feel like it took so long, like just to figure out, you know, okay, we have all these downloads, we have this course, we have this membership, like how does it all fit together? So it's taken us, I mean, a couple of years to kind of figure out what that process looks like. And of course, we're always tweaking it. Now I'm like, do we need a new $9 product? Like, what's the next thing we're going to create? Like, are people going to get tired of that? Or are we going to run out of audience? But I mean, we've been running that for at least 6 months, and it's worked really well.
Wow. Well, nice job figuring that out. So tell me, Jeremy, what else is in the tech stack? Like, this site is really beautiful. You're using a page builder of some kind?
Oh, yeah. So we're using the Divi theme. Yeah, and
you're making landing pages with Divi for like custom sales pages? Nice.
Correct, yeah. So I mean, it's pretty minimal in the way of like, you know, plugins and that kind of stuff. We just generate all the sales pages and everything within Divi. And that's just kind of when I started taking over on the technical side, she had hired a web developer, you know, way back when for some initial business stuff, and it was done in Divi. So that's just I just kind of picked it up from there and started learning from there. So we've just kind of used it ever since. But I mean, it's really, really easy to use their page builder with the drag and drop and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's super popular. What is the, how much time have you all had in WordPress?
So I would say I've probably been using it for about 7 years now. That's
Okay.
probably because like she had hired somebody to make a website, and then, you know, I way back in the day, you know, in high school, used like Dreamweaver to make websites, and I was like, it can't be that hard. Like probably don't have to like pay her to keep like making updates. Let me just go in and look, and then I was like, oh yeah, you just like drag the things across the page. This is way easier than Dreamweaver. I think we can do this. So.
And if it was me, I'd be like, let's just hire somebody. I don't want to deal with it.
So yeah, so then we made more sites after that, and I've done the maintenance and all that stuff since then. So yeah, it's probably about 7 years total that I have with WordPress now.
That's awesome. What are you using for web hosting?
Using Kinsta.
Kinsta, cool. Super popular in the Lifter world anyways.
Yeah, I got that from that's one of the places you recommend. So
yep, it's on the short list. Yeah.
We were using SiteGround, but we ended up having some issues eventually once we had just too many users and kept getting 503 errors, and so I moved over to Kinsta and haven't had any issues since.
Nice. Do you remember what was going on when you all were looking for a tech stack to build this on? Like, I'd love to just hear the story of like how you chose Lifter and what was happening then.
Yeah, so it was around the time she was doing the book. We were talking about doing the courses. So, basically it was on me to figure out how to do it. So, I had looked at Teachable, I had looked at LearnDash, and then I looked at Lifter. And really what drew me in was, I stumbled upon your Facebook group before I had purchased, and just seeing all the helpful content, you're jumping in there, there was a lot of help in there. And then was also able to jump on like a pre-sales call with you and get all of like my questions answered. So really was like the support and the access, like how all that stuff is what kind of drove me to Lifter.
And you like to make things your own. I feel like that's why I'm not allowed to have an iPhone, because you like to be able to change all the you like the flexibility, and I think that's like something that you're always looking for in solutions.
Yeah, I know if we kept it like self-hosted and within WordPress, I wasn't going to be limited later on, like because we didn't have a membership, wasn't even in the plan.
We weren't even thinking about membership at that point.
So courses first. You're like, I just need a course. And then grew into the membership. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. But yeah, we've been able to do, anything we needed to do to this point, and being that it's self-hosted with WordPress, if I need to do anything else, generally there's a plugin, there's some sort of existing functionality you can go grab and add on that, we'll be able to use later. So it's been, I think it was a good decision going, with Lifter and sticking with WordPress.
Yeah, I appreciate that. What tell us about working together as a couple. I think it's awesome. Like I work from home, my wife's here. She doesn't work in the business, but and I know lots of people that both parents work from home or together or whatever, but how did you guys figure it out? Obviously you have very different skill sets and parts you do. Do you struggle with the same?
That's probably why it works.
Yeah.
That's why it works? Yeah.
Yeah, totally different lanes. Like, she's the extrovert, outgoing, business development, on video, all that stuff. I get to hang out, behind the scenes, doing the tech stuff, what I enjoy, figuring out the technical problems, solving those. So yeah, we're definitely not stomping on each other's toes with anything related in the business.
But I think it's complementary, right? Yeah. So, if it was, like I said, if it was me, I'd be like, I don't know, like this thing looks good. Let's just buy it or hire somebody and just do it. Like, it's not my department. I'm not going to even think twice about different options. We're just going to pick something and do it. Whereas Jeremy's like, he'll do his research and look at the, all the full solution. And so I think, and it's the same way, like with our budget. Like he does all the finances. And even though sometimes I'm like, are you sure I didn't make more money than that? You know, he's got like the big picture, and I'm kind of more in it working with our students and some of our corporate clients too. That's the other piece that we didn't mention.
Oh, yeah.
We have some corporate startup direct sales companies that are also using and licensing the courses and the content that we offer. So
cool.
we definitely have like, different departments, different things that we're focused on. And I feel like with a global pandemic, we've had a little bit of a practice run of working at home together, because Jeremy, even in his corporate job, has been working at home since March.
Yeah, it was March. So
we got a taste of that. Yeah. And that was a transition, I think, for, our whole family. Like I'm used to working from home. I worked at home for years, but having to work at home with my husband across the table and my kids doing school over here, it's definitely had its challenges, but I think we've all adapted and kind of, settled into things. So.
Do you have any, and no judgment, everybody does it different. Do you have any kind of like rules in the house, like to turn off work or not, or no something past a certain time or anything like that? Or you just
probably work too much.
Okay. No, it's common. It's common.
Yeah, but the reality is, like when he had his corporate job, like if he was going to help with any tech, finance, behind the scenes stuff, that was in the evenings. Like it was the hobby business. Like you come home and like we put the kids to bed and like you'd work on stuff for
I was
a few
looking
hours.
Forward to it. I was like, let me go knock this stuff out.
And I'd be like, oh my gosh, I've worked all day and I'm still working at night. But no, we don't really have any hard set rules. I'm hoping that now that Jeremy's full-time in the business, we'll have a little bit more balance. I don't even like to use the word balance, but maybe some more boundaries, because we don't watch TV at night. We don't we sit at our computers and we work in the evenings, and we're kind of nerdy like that. But I think, when you love what you do, it's not too bad.
But we also take time during the day. So like we'll have, for example, like today is like the majority of my work day. So like I'm working from, 8 a.m. till 2. She's hanging out with the kids, not really working. So we're taking that time, during the day to hang out with the kids and do that kind of stuff.
That's true. If you could see the other side of our wall, we have whiteboards pretty much floor to ceiling. And one of them is our work schedule. So currently, summer vacation, kids are home and they won't be going back to school in the fall. So who knows how long this will last, but we've pretty much split our schedule every day. So like one of us is working, one of us is with the kids, and then hopefully we have a couple hours in there that are a little bit of overlap if the kids are busy doing other things where we can actually work together on stuff. But for right now, we have an AM and a PM schedule.
Awesome. Being the entrepreneur, being the coach, being the parent, being the tech person, like there's a lot going on. I totally get it. And you guys it sounds like you're doing a great job juggling it all. A question for you, Becky. Not everyone is as lucky as you to have like a tech person sitting right next to them. What if someone decides like, hey, I want the benefits of WordPress, or maybe somebody's listening to this, they want to use Lifter, but they're not a techie. What are the qualities that Jeremy has that like you just depend on and rely on, and that just makes the magic happen between you all? And I'm sure Jeremy has some ideas, but I wanted to ask you first.
This is going to be a little bit of a love fest. Well, I know how to work most of the back office of things, but like Jeremy is very patient in figuring things out. Like, so for me, if like I couldn't figure it out in 5 minutes, I'm like, Jeremy, why isn't this working? Like, I'm trying to find this report. What are our daily sales? Or I'm trying to look at it this way or that way. How do I get this data? So, definitely very patient and very detail oriented, but also like gets it done. I think, in the tech world, just in my experience, sometimes you work with companies that, it takes 3 weeks to get something done. And when you're a small business entrepreneur and you're like just trying to knock stuff out, and you change course from doing courses to memberships or whatever it might be, like you kind of just have to have somebody that can help like get it done and get it done quickly. So that's definitely something that I appreciate very much, that like, all right, priorities changed. We need this course updated today and we need to get this done by tomorrow. And I know I had this idea, but now we're going to like hold off for a couple weeks on that. So Jeremy's very like fluid and go with the flow and logical and even keel, and balances me out when I'm like, guess what? You know what we could do? We could do this and then we could do that. And he's like, whoa.
Hold on.
Like, let's slow down and talk about what that actually looks like. So yeah, so I'm lucky that I have somebody that can do that right across the desk from me.
So Jeremy, as a like a tech professional who's working with somebody like Becky, an expert and more the front of the office, what's the magic like working with her? Like, how is she? Pretend she were your client. What does she do really well?
Would you fire me?
You don't have to say that later. No,
Long, awkward pause.
No, I mean, it's actually super helpful because, I mean, going even before we had like the website we have now, like I was listening to like podcasts like Pat Flynn and, Smart Passive Income and those kinds of things. I'm like, oh yeah, it totally makes sense. I have no idea like what I would do to even like get into the business. So having somebody that's more like the visionary, big picture idea type person, like I definitely need that. Like I mean, I have ideas, but like it's usually after like she comes up with something and then I'm trying to figure out, okay, well, how can we really make that happen? Yeah. Then it's like, oh, okay, well, we can do it this way, we can do it that way. And that's where like I start getting creative on how we can get it done. But just the visionary big picture, like, I mean, you need both, right? You need somebody to come up with those, crazy ideas and what we're gonna do.
But then you make me take my crazy ideas and like draw them on a piece of paper. So this is Jeremy's secret sauce. I'm like, okay, we need a landing page that does this and that. And he's like, well, that's great. Can you draw me a picture of it? So then I can
I'm not the designer, that's
right.
For sure.
So then I like draw it out and I'm like, okay, it's gonna be like this or that's gonna be here, and then he'll like question me on it and be like, but why? Like, shouldn't this be like that? Or where does this connect? Or is that gonna not make sense with our other offering over here? Like, how is that fitting into everything we're doing? So you definitely like make me spell it out and detail my requirements, and then sometimes in the end I'm like, all right, you're right, maybe we shouldn't do that right now.
I'm smiling because I have a technical co-founder. His name's Thomas, and we have the same dynamic. He's like, "Really, you want that?" And then he's like, "Can you draw that out, or can you let's get a little more detail here?" And then sometimes he makes me realize like maybe I have a bad idea, which happens too. So
it happens. It happens to the best of us, Chris.
You mentioned it, and I wanted to hit on it before we moved on. You talked about licensing. You found a bigger client that maybe was putting a bunch of people in the program or whatever. Like, what happened there? Because that's pretty cool to not just close one person, but to get like a big account or whatever. How'd you do it, or what's the deal?
Yeah, you want to talk about that, or you want me to?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay.
I
know. I can hear Jeremy's computer is beeping at us.
I can't hear it actually.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad the microphone's on the front side. So yeah, I mean, I have 3 corporate clients that I'm working with, and we're looking to kind of grow that side of the business on the licensing side. So in the direct sales world, there's new companies popping up all the time. And as they're getting started, they usually have a really great product, but oftentimes they don't know how to train their sales force, or they're not sure exactly the best practices in the industry. So we've had a couple clients come to us and talk to us about like, okay, if you have these great courses, how do we get them out to everyone within our company? So we've set up a couple licensing agreements, and we're even expanding upon that more. I'll let you talk about that side of the project here in a minute. But that's been really exciting as well. So we've set up, using Lifter and basically creating a this is probably not the right word, but like a replicated version of our current site for our members, but for other companies. And we've used capture codes, and we've done a couple of manual enrollments with different customers that are looking for that. And then they essentially have me kind of in their back pocket within their company. And I do some other stuff for them too, like some live training, and I'll do, more support for them and strategy work with them. But it's been a really exciting piece of the business. And I think as we look into the next year, that's the part of the business that we're most excited to grow and we see a lot of opportunity in. So it's kind of just been this evolution from, you know, like, oh, we have one course to 5 courses to the membership to the licensing. It's really grown from there. And you can talk about kind of what we have coming up, which is exciting too.
Well, just before we leave on that, so I think most of the corporate clients have come in through either like a Facebook ad. They found the $9 thing because they were looking for training.
I got to get one of these.
Yeah, everyone needs a $9 thing.
Yeah.
So then like they join the membership and they love the courses and they're like, oh, we got to get this to every, you know, all of our consultants that we have. And that's really.
Or they found my blog and they've watched videos or they've kind of, you know, seen some of the training that I've offered and like my style or the content, and it's kind of evolved from there.
But yeah, so to make that happen, we essentially take like our existing courses platform. Like I've made like a template site now essentially that has those 5 courses that we license to the corporate clients. So essentially make a copy of that and you know, put it in our hosting site and
so that's all on your Kinsta account. Like
so I just add I essentially clone it in the Kinsta account to make a new copy of it, and so it's really, I mean, it's pretty easy and straightforward to set up. They're all getting the same content. Sometimes we do some, you know, we'll do like, I guess like minor updates, you know, logos and colors and stuff to match the branding, but it's usually pretty minimal to, you know, get it set up and working.
That's
and it's
awesome.
a great solution for them because otherwise they're hiring like an in-house training person. That person's learning the company, they're learning the brand, they're developing all their own courses and providing that to their sales force. So it's a shortcut for them.
I'm proud of y'all. That is awesome. I mean, and it adds a ton of value to them and it's super efficient. So you're not like doing all this manual training. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about a question that hangs up a lot of people. You two have come a long way in a short amount of time and done a lot of different things. So you're clearly learning a lot, taking action, experimenting. One of the areas I see people get hung up on is pricing. It may change based on when whoever's watching this, what your pricing is. But can you tell us about your approach to like picking a price for the membership or the courses or whatever? Like, what's the pricing story here? Was it hard to decide? Did you go up or down, or what happened?
Oh, we're like in the middle of all of that right now.
Okay.
I mean, we launched at $17 a month, and we had kind of a mental block around it being 20 or higher. Like we wanted to keep it 20 or less. Like I can write all of the copy in the emails about how that's, you know, 3 coffees a month at Starbucks, whatever, right? So like less than $20 a month. And you know, we know our audience. Our audience is direct sellers, many of which don't have a big established business and aren't bringing in a ton of money right now. So
that's important. Like the willingness to pay, it's called. It's like, what are their financial resources for this market?
Right. Like, and I've struggled with it because I'm like, I know I'm providing more value than $17 a month. Like I'm giving them all these courses. If I was going to sell the courses as a standalone, it would be, you know, upwards of $300, but you know, they're getting everything, and I'm doing live training and masterminds. And so we landed at 17. That kind of felt like our sweet spot. And then we do the discount where if they join for the first month through the Facebook ad, it's just 10 for the first month. And you know, we have a pretty good attrition rate on that. Some people stay, some people go. That's, I think, just kind of how it goes with memberships. But right now we're in the process of, we're officially closed. So we don't have our sales page up and live right now. We have a wait list and we're increasing it to 25 a month. And so right now we're right around 500 members in the membership. And so we kind of felt like we have a pretty steady group, and they'll be grandfathered in at the 17 a month. And then any new members that are coming in starting when we reopen, probably late September, will be at 25 a month. So yeah, pricing's tough. Like in my corporate background, I used to price leadership programs that were thousands of dollars, and it was tough then. And I feel like when it's your own product, it doesn't get any easier. But yeah, I think the biggest thing is just knowing, you know, we do a big push around getting people to upgrade to annual. So that's like
Okay.
something that we've been really focusing on, is how many of our monthly members can we get to upgrade to annual. Then we know we have them for the next 12 months, and we do a little bit of a discount. So it's 170, so they're getting like 2 months free if they upgrade to annual. But yeah, pricing's never easy. And even going up to 25, like we're like, oh, like in this economy right now, like should we make that move? But I think the time is right. We just have to go for it. And then if we want to do any kind of bonuses or discounts, we can do that. But yeah, it's a challenge. Pricing's challenging.
Well, for what it's worth, your 3 coffees a month, I really like the 30 or the 25. It's basically $1 a day. That's a pretty good.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a good
I'll
sales.
update my coffee to reflect that. Exactly. Yes.
As a software person and just a little bit of a nerd, I'm kind of into things like churn and recurring revenue and stuff like that. And one of the things is there's this concept called activation, where somebody kind of gets activated into your software, into your membership or your product. What is it inside your membership site, inside the academy, where if you had to get, maybe you already know, if not, if you were to guess, like after somebody crosses this one gate, you know, they're pretty much going to stick around for the foreseeable future. Do you know what kind of behaviors do they do, or, you know, do you have some thoughts there?
I have a lot of thoughts on that one.
Okay.
But that's like the nut everyone's trying to crack, right? Like, what is it that gets people to stay? And for us, the very first barrier is joining our Facebook group, which is so silly. Like, somebody buys it, and I'd say 20% of the people don't even join the Facebook group. And I'm like, if they don't join the Facebook group, they're not sticking around, because part of the value is that community and being able to connect with others and see the updates and the trainings and the replays. And if they don't get themselves into the group, like, we can pretty much kiss them goodbye. They're not going to stick around. So we do a lot now in the very beginning when somebody joins to get them into the group, which is like so basic, but you know, they get an email inviting them to the group. Then they get a text message reminding them to join the group if they haven't. Then they get a personal video from me. So I send a Bonjoro video to them, reminding them to join the group with a call to action to join the group.
Nice.
And if they still haven't joined, then we send one more email. And then after that, I can pretty much guarantee they won't continue with that if they don't join the group. So that's a huge barrier for us, is just getting people from the purchase to actually access the material. And I think, you know, when people upgrade to annual or they want to stay longer, I think it's usually because they've come to a live something. They've come to one of our live masterminds. They've, you know, asked a question in the group and they've gotten a really great response and found a lot of value from it. Or, you know, we do a push around our virtual retreat and getting them to upgrade to annual, but they really have to be an active member of the community. Otherwise, you know, they probably won't stick around. And we already struggle in direct sales because direct sales has a lot of turnover. You know, you don't have a boss, like you're signing up and buying a kit and getting connected with a company. And there's already a ton of turnover in the industry. So we've really been focusing on people that are at least established or more in a leadership role to see that they're going to stay within the industry for a little while longer, and then hopefully stay within our membership for longer when they're finding that value.
That is awesome. Well, what is the I'm totally shifting gears here to a different area. What was the signal in the business that, however you want to talk about it, that you were like, you know, I think Jeremy could come home and we could do this can just be our thing. Like, what had to happen for that realization? I mean, not necessarily in terms of specific numbers or anything, but what happened where that became hey, I think we can do this kind of moment?
Yes.
So many late nights with drinks and counseling over stability and corporate jobs.
Because of the risk?
Many long conversations. But for a while, the number was 1,000, right? For a while, we kept saying, like, when we hit 1,000 in the membership, you'd walk out of your job that day. Like, that was like the number that we had in our head. And we're not there yet.
Yeah.
But we also added the other pieces with the licensing and, you know, additional like consulting and that kind of stuff. So I don't know. It was hard for me to wrap my head around, honestly, because I like that stability, and was kind of my push to go to a membership and get that recurring income. And all that kind of stuff. But I mean, for me, what turned it, other than the therapy sessions at night.
Like, just drink another glass of whiskey, baby. You're done tonight.
Just the trajectory the membership kept taking. And then, once the pandemic hit and all, it's been a steady rise, and the pandemic hit and I was like, oh, there's no way I'm quitting now. Like I'm staying right here in my secure, cozy job in my office. But then it actually ticked up a little higher, and, more people looking for how to do things online and do things from home. So then it just kind of reaffirmed that, we got something here. Like, we're doing enough now. Like, we can survive on the income that's coming from it. If I go full time with it, we'll be able to grow it faster.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah, just I think that few months of Academy growth and it continuing to grow was what took it for me.
Yeah, and I was like, come on, we can work during the day, daylight. We can work during daylight hours and not just like every night after the kids go to bed from 8 till midnight. Like, this could be big. So it was a leap for sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll still be a transition. I'm sure a lot of people are like, are you crazy? Like, you quit your corporate job of 15 years in the midst of a global pandemic when like everyone is looking for employment? Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
But the timing just, it couldn't have been better for us. And I'm grateful to have a little bit of extra help at home now that our children are going to be officially learning in the fall too. So it'll be nice to have, 2 hands on deck instead of just me and the kids. I won't completely lose my mind, just maybe a little bit.
That's awesome. Well, I'm so happy for you guys that you ended up where you are and it's working out so well. What's like a parting message you would have for other people who are trying to teach online, build these kind of courses, maybe get into a bigger membership and coaching program and do these big license deals? If somebody's not as far along as you are and just kind of in the earlier stages, what's a piece of advice you have for them? And maybe if you both could just answer separately what it would be.
I would say, for me, the big thing that I've learned, and it's tough for me, and I see her do it all the time, is you got to just kind of do it. Just go start doing. Like, don't get hung up on all the trying to make it fancy and perfect and all that stuff. Just kind of go out, get it done, because as soon as you put it out there, you're going to start getting feedback and you're going to want to make tweaks, and it's never going to be perfect. And it's hard for me to wrap my head around. The engineer in me and perfectionist in me always wants it to be, oh no, we can, there's something else to do here. And, she's more of the, no, let's just put it out there. Let's just do it. Let's see what happens. And I'm coming to more of that side now.
I know, I was going to say, that's like this is being recorded. So I'm going to have
forever
to play this.
Yeah. Just get started and do it, because it's, it's never going to be perfect, and you're always going to have these little tweaks, and nothing's ever set in stone. You'll be able to change it and tweak it and make it better, and just get started and go.
Yeah, that's good. That's like something I would say. That's really good. Yeah, I think along the same lines, like, you just have to try a lot of different things. Like, I wrote a book, and I've sold some copies on Amazon, and that was great. And I launched some courses, and some people bought them, but not as many people as I wanted to buy them. And then, we have this membership, and we had a goal of 1,000 people in the membership by the end of the year, which I think we're still like mostly on track for. It's aggressive, but doable. And then even the licensing opportunities that came up, I would have never even realized those existed a year ago. So there's been so many iterations, and we've evolved so much and learned so much in the process that, you kind of do. You just have to kind of go and put it out there. Like, I just put a Facebook ad out that I recorded on vacation in an Airbnb in the kitchen. I thought it was like the worst thing ever, and I was horribly embarrassed. And our ads manager was like, no, it's great. Like, we're gonna use it. And I was like, oh, do we have to? I don't know. There was something holding me back, and now people are buying things based on this awkward ad that I did in an Airbnb in a kitchen. So you kind of just have to, even for me, sometimes, doing stuff before maybe I'm ready is out of my comfort zone. You just kind of have to do and see how it goes, and then change it, because it always changes.
That's awesome. Well, Becky and Jeremy Launder, thank you for being a shining example of what's possible with your adventures as education entrepreneurs and people using LifterLMS, and really not just making a product that makes your life better, but you're also helping other people build out a career, which in this day and age, like that can be done remotely is cool. So yeah, my hat's off to you on that. Congratulations on all your progress. I can't wait to see where you are 3 years from now and what you're doing. If somebody wants to connect with you, maybe they might be interested in direct selling, or they want to go check out your site or this famous $9 lead magnet. What can they, where can people go to find out about you?
Yeah, so our website is myconsultanttraining.com, and there's everything on there about the courses, the membership, perfectly crafted, the $9 lead magnet. All of that is on the website. And then I have a free Facebook group for direct sellers called the My Consultant Training Tribe. That's just a free group over on Facebook. And I'm on Instagram at Becky Launder and YouTube and all the other places. You'll probably see more of me than him. So,
yeah,
you know.
I'm not very active on social media. You can find me there.
Awesome. Well, thanks y'all for coming on the show, and I wish you all the best in your future projects.
Oh, thanks, Chris.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it, Chris.
And that's a wrap for this episode of LMScast. Did you enjoy that episode? Tell your friends and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. And I've got a gift for you over at LifterLMS.com/gift. Go to LifterLMS.com/gift. Keep learning, keep taking action, and I'll see you in the next episode.